Today I'm going to be flying with Finnair in business class from London to Helsinki and then onwards to New Delhi in India. My journey today starts at Heathrow Terminal 3 and I'll make my way to the B check-in counters where Finnair are based. There's a priority queue on the right side for passengers in business class or with One World status. After checking my documents, I was handed my boarding pass and made my way to security. Premium and status passengers are eligible for fast-track security, although as has been the case the past few times I've been in Terminal 3 recently, this seems to be far slower than the main security. After getting through, I made my way to the Cathay Pacific Lounge, marked Lounge C, near Gate 11. Entry is up via one of two lifts. Finnair business class passengers are able to make use of the Cathay Business Class Lounge, although as a BA Gold Card holder, I was able to make use of the First Class Lounge. The Cathay Pacific First Class Lounge is probably my favourite lounge in Heathrow. It has loads of natural light thanks to the massive floor-to-ceiling windows. There's a self-service drinks area with champagne, wines, spirits and soft drinks, along with breakfast pastries and fruit selection, as this was a morning flight. I skipped the self-serve this morning and made my way to the a la carte dining room where I ordered the Chinese set, which included dim sum, congee and noodles, and not forgetting the obligatory glass of champagne. With that finished, I ordered another glass of Laurent Perrier and enjoyed the views from one of the leather sofas whilst waiting for my flight to start boarding. As I noticed boarding started, I made my way to gate 24, which was a bus gate unfortunately. Finnair didn't seem to have any priority queue for business passengers, although I may have missed this by the time I got there. It didn't make much of a difference anyway, since we were all shuffled onto a bus. Finnair operates their A350-900 on some of their London routes, so I was able to enjoy the long-haul hard product on this short-haul flight. I quickly got settled in, and we took off not long after. After takeoff, I was given a hot towel and a choice of drinks. I went with the champagne, as always. Finnair has some really cool glassware with this raindrop effect at the bottom that I really like. This was followed by the meal service, which had a cold cut starter, bread, ravioli, and a cookie for dessert. Having finished that, I popped out the screen and switched to the rear camera view to enjoy the views on this short hop to Finland. I'll have a closer look at the seat later in the video when I get on my long-haul flight. Once in Helsinki airport, I went to the transfer desk where my second boarding pass was reprinted before making my way to the Finnair lounge near gate 52. Unfortunately, the Platinum Wing was still closed when I filmed this, so I'll definitely have to revisit to experience the sauna. However, the business class lounge was more than good enough for my 90-minute connection. The lounge is pretty big with lots of different seating areas, a cocktail bar in the middle where I had more champagne and tried some cocktails, a decent buffet food selection, and a quieter area at the back with partition dividers. There are also showers, which you can book for 30 minutes using a touchscreen outside the door, which was super simple. The shower room was clean, spacious, and had all the amenities you'd expect, like dental kits, shaving kits, and of course soap, shampoo, and conditioner. After my shower, I made my way to my gate just in time for priority boarding. Back on another A350, I got settled into my seat 1A. One thing to note is that 1A only has one window, whereas the seat behind has two. I was greeted by the cabin crew who offered me a pre-departure beverage. I went for the signature Finnair blueberry juice and another glass of champagne. This was all cleared up in time for takeoff. Again, after takeoff, I was handed another hot towel and another glass of champagne, this time with some almonds on the side. On Finnair long-haul flights, you get a Marimekko Amenity Kit. This is very basic compared to some other airlines, but has all the essentials: a toothbrush, eye mask, earplugs, lip balm, and moisturizer. Now, let's have a closer look at the seat. On one side, there's an armrest that pops up, and a storage area which I used as a mini bin for the plastics. On the other side, we have a slot for a water bottle which is provided, and a reading light, IFE controls, seat recline controls, a USB and international power socket, and a headphone jack. The headphones are noise cancelling, which can be enabled with a switch on the side. Looking straight ahead, we have the cubby hole and a gap underneath, which I used to store my shoes before putting on the provided slippers. One thing to note is the seat is not very private, and you can easily see into your neighbour's area and vice versa. Finally, we have the foldable table, which I pulled out for my meal service. Finnair doesn't provide any physical menus on their flights, and everything is served on one tray. I had chicken and rice, which was fine, and a cheese platter for dessert. All finished, but I would say it's pretty average for business class. A quick look at the toilets, which have a window view. Just make sure you keep this closed if you're still at the gate. And there's nothing really much else special. There are no amenities provided in the toilets, just some extra paper towels. I went back to my seat and made my bed. The legroom with the cubby hole is fine, but I did often find I was hitting my knee on the display enclosure when turning around. Finnair doesn't have individual air vents in their business class cabin, and the flight did get very hot overnight, although this did at least prepare me for the Indian heat wave I was about to experience. I tucked myself in and got a good few hours of sleep. Upon waking up, and not too long before landing, I was given a much needed hot towel and a smoothie, followed by one of the worst business class breakfasts I've ever had. The croissant was stale, the fruit was hard, and the sandwich, well, just look at it. Eventually, we approached New Delhi airport and landed at around 5 in the morning. Overall, this flight was perfectly fine. Finnair doesn't have the level of polish that some of the other airlines have in business class, but to be fair, they do tend to be cheaper. The lounge was great, and for me the most important thing is having a lie-flat bed. The food and service on my return flight home was pretty similar, so there seems to be a level of consistency here. I'm looking forward to flying Finnair again to experience the Platinum Wing, and I also want to try out their new business class no-recline shell seat. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe for more, and do let me know in the comments what your experience has been like flying Finnair. Till next time!